In a beautiful forest, there lived a deer. His greatest pride and joy was the horns on his head. Every day he would come to a clear pond to see his reflection in the water. He used to say to his reflection in the water, "Wow, the horns on my head are so beautiful. Is so beautiful. How can there be such beautiful horns in the world?" But he had a problem. He thought his legs were too small and ugly. He thought his legs were too small and ugly for his perfect horns. Alas, it's a pity. My legs are so ugly. They're thin and weak. They're like bamboo poles. Oh, my God. One day, the deer decided to show the other animals in the forest to see his beautiful feet. The deer said, "My horns are so beautiful. I mustn't be the only one to see them." So he wandered around the forest. First he met a groundhog, and the deer said, "Hey, a groundhog, look, the horns on my head. Aren't they beautiful?" The groundhog looked at the antlers on the deer's head. "Wow, wow, wow. Your horns are really beautiful," the deer said proudly. "Right. Yeah. Look at that. I have such beautiful horns. What about you?" The groundhog says, I think my claws are great. They not only help me dig holes, they can build my home underground." The deer says with disdain, "Are you kidding me? Your claws are small and black. And your claws are so small and black, they can't compete with my horns. HMPH. And with that, the deer left proudly. And then he met a hedgehog. And the deer said, "Hey, hedgehog, look, the horns on my head. Aren't they beautiful?" The hedgehog looks at the horns on the deer's head. "Wow, your horns, they are really beautiful," the deer said proudly. "Yes. Yeah. Look at that. I have such beautiful horns. What about you?" The hedgehog says, I think my thorns are great. They don't just help me disguise myself. They can also be used to fight off enemies." The deer says, "You've got to be kidding me. Your thorns are sharp and hard, are no match for my horns. HMPH. And with that, the deer left again, proudly. And then he met a pangolin. And the deer said, "Hey, a pangolin, look, the horns on my head. Aren't they beautiful?" The pangolin looks at the horns on the deer's head. "Wow, your horns, they're really beautiful," the deer said proudly. "Yes. Yeah. Look at that. I have such beautiful horns. What about you?" The pangolin says, I think the scales on my body are great. They not only help keep me warm, they can also be used as a defense against enemies." The deer said, "Are you kidding me? Your scales are thick and heavy, and your scaly armor is so thick and heavy, it's no match for my horns. HMPH. And with that, the deer left proudly. And then The deer returned to the pond and continued to revel in his reflection in the water. The deer said, "Oh, the horns on my head. How can they be so beautiful? In the forest, there's nothing in the forest that can match my horns." At that moment, there were footsteps in the distance. The deer's ears perked up. He realized there was danger. There was a lion in the distance. There was a lion in the distance. Is creeping up on him. The deer didn't hesitate. He ran for his life. His long, thin legs stomped and jumped. He ran as fast as he could. In no time at all, he left the lion far behind. The lion gasped and said,
"This deer is running too fast."
The deer looked back at the lion and laughed. "You're running too slow. You can't catch me." Just when the lion was about to give up, the horns on the deer's head accidentally. It got stuck on a branch. It couldn't get free. Oops! What's going on? There's no branch here. The lion saw this great opportunity. It chased after the deer. Just when the lion was about to catch the deer finally realized. Whoops! I can't believe it. I thought the ugly four legs, he could help me to escape. In the end, my most beautiful horns. Instead, it got me into trouble. At this very moment, a ball suddenly flew in. It hit the lion.
Ouch! It hurts.
It was a pangolin's scaly armor ball. The lion retreated in pain. Then it stepped on a hole in the ground and fell down.
Ho! Why is there a hole in the ground? Wow. TH.
I see. That's the hole the groundhog dug. The lion fell and sat on a ball of thorns. He got a lot of thorns in his butt.
Oh. What's with all the thorns? It hurts.
It turns out, it's the thorns of a hedgehog. Finally, the lion screamed in pain and ran away. The deer said gratefully to everyone, "Thank you. Did you come to save me?" And the groundhog said, "Yes. We saw you being chased by a lion. We came to help you." Says the hedgehog, "You were running so fast. Your legs are much more useful." The pangolin says, "Yes. Much more useful." The deer hears this. He apologizes. "Sorry. I was so proud. I shouldn't have looked at the horns on my head. I shouldn't have looked down on you. Please forgive me." The groundhog said, "It's okay. We're all willing to forgive you." The hedgehog says, "That's right. You have to learn to appreciate yourself and others." The pangolin nods in agreement. The deer says, "Thank you for saving me. Well, we're going to be good friends together." "Yes," they said in unison. Hey, guys. This story tells us that we can't just focus on the outside without seeing the value and meaning inside. At the same time, we must learn to appreciate ourselves and others. Be kind to each other. help and cooperate with each other.